Welcome to Voices of Diversity. I'm here again with Diversity Council Chairman Tabbi. Thanks for being with me again.
Thank you for having me.
And today we're going to be talking about learning disabilities. So according to WebMD, learning disability is a problem that affects how a person receives and processes information. People with learning disabilities can have trouble with reading, writing, math, and understanding directions. Now, I actually have a learning disability. They're really common.
Tons of children and tons of adults have learning disabilities, and that's not even just the people, the stats who don't know, who haven't gone and seeked help. So those are just the stats we know.
Yep. So I have dysgraphia, which according to the Diagnostics and Statistics Manual of Mental Disorders, it's a learning disability that affects writing abilities. Basically, writing skills never get to a level that's considered age appropriate. Because according to the Diagnostics and Statistics Manual, a lot of times when you have one, you get two. So dyslexia is a common one to also have. A lot of people with learning disabilities also have ADHD. And it also tends to run in families.
Yes, a lot of times when you see these things, you see them with multiple things, like you said, like with ADHD and dyslexia. It kind of comes with the others. They all come together.
Yeah. They're not really sure what causes them, but thankfully schools are learning new ways of helping students with that, and it's becoming something that you kind of see more, and there's more, there's more help for it. So I have a few books about learning disabilities and with characters that have learning disabilities. So one of the first books I brought is this, My Friend Has Dyslexia, which I thought was just a really cute book because it's told from the point of view of a little boy whose friend Grace has dyslexia, and he talks about the things that they still do together, even though sometimes she has problems with other stuff. He also lists the things that she's good at.
Yeah.
So I think it's a really good way to kind of introduce kids to the idea of learning disabilities.
Yes, it's great to see in a book, because a lot of times when you're a kid and you have someone in your class and they have some type of learning disability or any other type of disability, you might be cautious or shy, and you don't want to offend them, you don't want to ask them to do things that they can't do but you don't know. So reading books like these are a great way to learn about it, so you can just break that barrier and still have fun with your friends and hang out with all your friends and your classmates, because there's tons of stuff that everybody does regardless of any issues they might be having.
Also I have Captain Underpants right here in the middle. So Dave Pilkey, the author of Captain Underpants, actually has ADHD and dyslexia, and he had a lot of problems growing up in school with it. He said that a lot of times he would be sent out of the class because of his hyperactivity, and sitting in the hallway, his creative mind kept going, and his overactive mind kept going, and that's actually when he created Captain Underpants and Dogman. And he's very open about talking about his learning disabilities and how he sees it as his superpower, and how all children have these kind of superpowers.
Yes, and books like these, like Captain Underpants and Dogman, are great to read if you have ADHD, because it has the text, it has pictures, so if you get distracted, it's still a part of the story, it's still reading the book. So it's a great introduction to start reading.
Also at the end over near Tabby, I have one of the Percy Jackson books. So Percy Jackson actually has dyslexia, as do all of the demigod kids. It really is part of like their superpower, and I picked that one just because I thought it was really cool to see a main character who has a learning disability.
Yes, it's great to see that in books.
And then one more that I was going to talk about that it's not in a book, but it's in a TV show. We actually have the DVDs of it, but they're checked out, so I couldn't grab them. In the newest Doctor Who, one of the companions, Ryan, has a learning disability, dyspraxia, where it's one where he can't, it affects his coordination. And when we first meet Ryan, he's trying to ride a bike, and it's not happening.
Yeah.
He's not having a good time of it. And then he goes like on this little journey with the doctor, and then at the end he tries again to ride a bike, but he still fails. And I kind of like that, because a lot of times things like this in media, like it's like, oh, once I overcome it, like I can do this thing. And sometimes you don't. A great character, really well-rounded character. That's it for today's Voices of Diversity Learning Disabilities. Thank you for being with me, Tabby.
Thank you for having me, Kristina.
And we'll see you next time.